Are you looking for an easy-to-use tool that's going to help prioritize and organize all those tasks that you have in your personal life and your business life?
Yeah, we're going to show you how to do the daily today on the WB&L podcast.
This is the Wandering But Not Lost WB&L podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Well, welcome to the WB&L Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. This is episode 218. You can find all of our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Jan O'Brien, we are going to talk about doing the daily. We are bringing out, dusting off. We shouldn't have to dust off because you should be using this every day. But dusting off the MyPath Excel spreadsheet that we actually just created last year. But we've been talking MyPath for 7 years now, 8 years, going on 8 years. A way that you can arrange and prioritize your life, right?
Yeah, it was so cool. This is something that I got out of my head years ago of looking at other people's checklists for, like I'm still a paper person, right? Even though I use all these different tools online and my phone and we're all about Google Drive. But I like to still have something to walk around with if I need it. I can't get away from it. I mean, if you looked at my desk right now, you'd see little Post-it notes and checklists of things that need to stay in front of me. It needs to stay in front of my eyes, not require me to open it up and look at it. That's me. So that was where this brainchild came from. And we turned it into a few worksheets. Now it's in a nice PDF version that's a completely free download that you can get over on WB&L Coaching. And we just call it MyPath because we figure we really do need to blend in what you got to do in your personal life or goals that you're working on or, whatever projects, but also various stages, various things that are happening in your business life. So this is I was going to say metamorphied. That's not the word. It's morphed. That was the word.
Morphed is the word. Right.
It's morphed over the years. It was a little more complicated, but it's with the theme I seem to be getting to as I get older and wiser, like yourself there, Mr. Wise Wizard. And that is less is more. Yep. Let's keep it a little simpler, and you don't have to have I have a tendency to have too much stuff happening. So, right?
That is correct.
We call it MyPath, right? So it's just a few tools. In fact, I forget how many we have in this little.
I think there's six worksheets in here, I believe.
So let's dive in, and we're going to show them to you if you're watching our video, but we're going to explain it to you for all our wonderful audio podcast listeners. So the first is the do the daily. And I'm very happy to say that this really is something we continue to do, that Cosmo and I for sure do. And I had forgotten that I had it on this particular spreadsheet because I had it designed more for an individual person. But what it is to me, the daily is there's 5 things. And I think we have the 5 things on here that are important. And I was just telling a group of new pre-licensing students, because I teach a pre-licensing class, because they were asking me, what is a great question that I got asked yesterday. And I'm going to share this with them actually, which was, you get started in the real estate business. What does my day or week look like? What do I need to do to be successful? And I literally just whipped this out on the board and said, and it was the daily. It started with the next one we're going to talk about is getting your daily routine. But on the do the daily worksheet, you have a column or an area. It's broken into blocks. And they're just open lines for you to use it. The idea is that you could copy these. And frankly, one idea that I think I may really do this year too, I've done it once before, is go take them to an office place and have them bound, have them printed and bound so that you can just go to the next one and you can sort of carry this around with you. And the daily worksheet is simply, who are the priority connections you have to make today? So these are your follow-ups, your key, maybe actions that you need to do, or maybe you need to follow up with somebody in your sphere of influence. There's an area that says my listings and sales. I call it escrows also. That just means every day, what do you need to do priority-wise to move your escrows forward to closing? Then there's an area for hot prospects, and that would be your A leads of follow-up and so forth. And then any other tasks. There's an area for connections, which is call, text, maybe send an email. And then today's task. So there's an area that probably has about, 10 lines or so in it, Matt.
Yeah. Oh, more than that.
Maybe a little more.
Right.
That allows you to say, what are your priority tasks? Because that just falls into, maybe you have something you just need to go take care of. And it could be something that's personal and or business. And then we have an area for videos, social. which is so intriguing because we built this how long ago?
Quite a while ago.
Because that just proves we've always talking about doing video. And that is completely what we do to generate new business each day that we do, because we've chosen that as our key business generator. And that is to create content, and it's video content, and it's on TikTok, Instagram now, YouTube, and Reels, right? Reels on Facebook and Instagram. So that is, and I think even if you're not getting into that way, if you're using any kind of social media, you got to do it daily. So that's the do the daily, and that's all business related, really. And then we have the next tab over is called a high level look. And this is just a roll up of, this is where you can put the 5 things that you might be doing. We've got in there a morning routine and lead gen 1 to 2 hours. That's exactly what I wrote on the board for these up and coming new guys and gals getting into the real estate business. I literally wrote morning routine and lead gen 1 to 2 hours.
Right, because we obviously want you to select your items, but let me just tell you, these 2 should be on everybody's list, right?
Then you add in what else do you do on a daily basis, which what we do is the things that were on the first page. We review our escrows, who are our hot prospects to follow up, client appointments, things like that. And then there's a little spot, a grid from Monday through Sunday, so that you should be doing those things at least 5 days a week. Then we have an area for you to put what are your ongoing repetitive weekly tasks that you do? What are your monthly tasks? So one for me monthly is the newsletter, right? I do this monthly newsletter. I have to record a video. I have to do the newsletter. There's about 3 tasks in there. I have to put the reports together that I do on a monthly basis. And if you just put all this out of your head, this helps you run into stuff for quarterly. Maybe you do a quarterly client appreciation event, for example. Then what do you do annually? Annually, maybe you send out, which is definitely on my list, all the past closings you had last year. They get that closing statement for tax season, right? That's an example of something that you could do annually. Or maybe annually is you're calling people on their anniversary of their time they sold their home, they bought a home with you. So this is meant to be your game plan. You just did a business plan. If you've been following along with us, you did a business plan. This particular worksheet gives you what do you do daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually. And they could be strategies of things that you do in your business in those timeframes. And then you have a game plan. Then you go do it.
This really does work in conjunction with your business plan. If you've done your full business plan, like Jan said, we've been talking about for weeks now here on the podcast and within WBNL coaching, this really is just take the snippets and bring this literally as a high level look into your business plan, right? So they work in tandem.
I love it.
Yep.
So those 2 are really awesome. And then we have my monthly roadmap. So this was something that we used to call our 333. Mm-hmm. And it was this idea that this is more of a planner, a minor planner, if you will. So it has January to December on one side, and then 3 columns: personal, business, and get up and get out. The idea here was if you have specific goals or events or activities or vacations or staycations, maybe something that you're planning to attend for personal development or whatever, it's an idea. And it's kind of important to do that right now, because right now I'm doing a little of this. When am I planning to go back to the Florida area? You put all this on your calendar, right? So it's a little bit like a calendar idea, except it's designed so that you can have the months, and then you can say, well, you know what, this year I am going to go get up and get out at least somewhere once a month. And then you can start planning what those are. Maybe you already know that you're going to be doing some things with friends in March, or you're planning a trip to Sequoia. Are you guys doing that?
Yeah, actually, that's funny you should say that. We were just talking about that this morning. That's funny.
But that's all it is. It's a real simple thing to sort of say, do you have balance? You've got personal things you're working on. It could be a seminar. It could be anything, right?
What I love about this particular sheet, because it really is just your calendar, right? But it's very basic. This is high level stuff on here. And if you fill this out completely, once again, it can be very much in tandem with your business plan. And you don't achieve something, or you want to move things around, you have that whole 12-month yearly look at what's going on there, right? And you'll know really quickly if you start getting off your path. So it's an impactful sheet if you use it correctly.
I love it. And then we have business pipeline, and I definitely do this with who are your prospects, upcoming sales, that are 30, 60, and 90 days out. So it's just a sheet that's broken down into 30, 60, 90. And the idea would be you could, you move them as you're doing this, or you could use this anytime you want. I've seen people do something like this with little Post-it notes, right? Have an area up on their board.
Yeah, move them around.
Or you could even post something like this, and then you can move, John Smith goes from 90 to 60 to 30. You could still use something like this, like the small notes, the little tiny small Post-it notes, like I happen to have one right here. This would work good with this system, right?
Yep.
We could have the person's name, and you could use it all over this, put this up on your wall, and then you're moving the people as they go through. That's just another visual way to say, am I focused on the highest the highest dollar items, like who needs to buy a house or sell a house 30, 60, 90 days from now. Love that. And then we have one called a project pipeline. And this is a similar idea. Doing, done. I've seen numerous people do this. I think it's so simple and easy to just go with this. What are your projects? They're in the do column when you haven't done anything with them yet. They're there, which is fine, because if you have a ton of things that are in your mind, get them out of your head, get them on this list, so that it's a big principle of one of my favorite books by John Allen, not Think and Grow Rich, but Getting Things Done. Getting Things Done. I'm pretty sure it's John Allen. No, I'm having like a brain, but it's definitely Getting Things Done. And one of his concepts that I always found brilliant when I first read his book is that part of the stress that comes in our lives is the unopened loops that are in our head. And man, I don't know about you, Matt, but they happen to me. These just means that your subconscious mind is constantly, you've got things you're thinking about all the time that you haven't completed. So it might be, I got to make that phone call, or it happens to me all the time. I haven't sent that email that I was supposed to send to this person. And oh gosh, I have to go get the smoke detector, which has been on my list for a week, which I finally did yesterday. And what happens is it comes in inopportune times. You'll be like waking up in the middle of the night and something's in your mind. Or for me, it happens when I'm driving and I'm not really at a place that I can go do something.
Yeah, of course.
Write it down. I'm in the shower. That's what happens to me. Driving, in the shower, and when I wake up, because I wake up, I sleep very lightly, I'll have, I got to go do that. And so I usually just keep a pad of paper by the bed and I'll write stuff down so it's out of my head. And that's the idea. Get it out of your head. Get it into what he calls a trusted. It's David Allen, not John.
I was just going to say, I just looked that up. It is David Allen. Yeah.
It just kind of came to my head. See there? Yeah. David Allen, GTD, Getting Things Done. So the do column is just get it out of your head. Who cares if it's a huge long list? Then you move it over to doing when you're working on it. And then you move it to done when you're done. And did we make this fillable, by the way?
Yes.
So that's the beautiful part about it.
Well, actually, Jan, no, this is just an Excel spreadsheet. It's not even as a PDF. We just did it as full Excel. So it's just
it's
easy.
Excel. It's even better.
Yeah.
So it's Excel. So you could upload it to Google Drive if you're a Drive user.
Exactly.
You can then add on your phone, and now you can just simply update it as you're going.
Right.
Or you could print it out and use it and do it that way as well. Use pencil, I guess. All right. So the doing done is awesome for your projects. Okay. Exactly. And quarterly tune-up, Matt's favorite.
It is. I love the quarterly tune-up. You have to stay. There is no point in planning if you're not going to follow up and see where you are along the way, because it's just a waste of time if you don't do this.
Well, and if you know us, if you've been listening, and I think I got this from Matt, but Matt, will you just put down what your alliteration is, or can you speak your alliteration on what this quarterly tune-up form, what's the subtitle of this quarterly tune-up?
Well, it helps you ponder, practice, perfect, and prosper, of course.
There you go. Now, this is the whole beautiful thing that we're always talking about, that you have to stop and celebrate your successes along the way and get a little bit of a temperature, a tune-up, as we call it. How are you doing? Are you on track, off track? What do you do? So there's a spot at the top to just list your accomplishments and your successes. We are very big advocates of celebrating your successes, where we all have a tendency, if we're driven personalities, to say, okay, that's done, off the list, on to the next thing, and then not actually celebrate, wow, that was actually a great accomplishment, even if it was minor. It's always, type A personalities, high D people, and many people, but definitely high Ds are task driven. So it's like, what's next, what's next, what's next? So stop and appreciate that, at least on a quarterly basis. Then there's a place for you to go, what was your sales goal? What did you actually accomplish so far? Same with listings and actuals. And your revenue, what was your revenue goal and what did you earn? There's a place for you to track what's your expenses, the goal what you had budgeted basically, and what you actually spent, adding people to your CRM, or whatever your system is, which is basically CRM goal on this sheet simply means adding new people to your database. And then if you're holding open houses, what did you do there? Did you have a goal, and did you do it there? And
yeah, and if you have a different prospecting,
you could add it, right?
Yeah, you can change open house to something else. That's what's great about this. It's very easy for you to edit and change to make it
like for us. We would probably put the number of videos that we want to get accomplished, and did we do that, right? So that goes back to what is your niche, what is your target markets that you're going to do, and then you're just going to give yourself a grade on that, right? Or just report it. And then you've got a little area to just do a little analysis, a little self-reflection, on track, what's working well, what are you most excited about in your business, what's working for you. Then there's an area to discuss roadblocks, what got in the way, any setbacks for this period, identify what those are, have you worked through it, and then course corrections, right? So now you're on track, there's some things that didn't happen, what are you going to do differently into the next quarter? Small steps. Do you need to make a bold move? What changes do you need to make? Maybe you discover that something that you were spending money on, or maybe you came up with a tactic that you were going to try for generating leads and it's just not working. And I also find that sometimes people have committed to spend some money to do something, and then really what's happening is they're not doing it.
Right.
Okay. Like not following up with the leads that you maybe are generating. So we love this simple little 6-page Excel spreadsheet. But boy, it doesn't look like any Excel spreadsheet that you would ever see, because Matt has customized it and made it look nice and fun.
Try to make it not look like a scary statistic.
This is why I really didn't realize it was Excel for the moment, because to me it looked like a PDF.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, when you have Excel, you can export it as a PDF if you prefer that.
Absolutely.
After you get the work done in it and you want to print it out and carry it around with you like I do. So that is our free gift to you. And how can they get that, Mr. Matthew?
Yeah, they just have to go over to wbnlcoaching.com and go to our freebies page, and then scroll on down to My Path 2023. You'll go in there, you'll sign up, and you can download it right there, and it'll be ready for you to use today.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. So there you have it.
We love My Path. We do have to mention that coming up next Wednesday, December 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we have actually, let me just pull that up while we're talking about it. We are doing a workshop that's going to include a little bit of business planning, just in case you haven't done that business planning yet, or if you've started the business plan and not finished your business plan. We're going to be doing a little bit of business planning, but really we're going to be talking about some strategies that will help you thrive in 2023. Jan, you want to kind of jump into what some of those are?
Yes, absolutely. So we definitely do want to take a little time to help people live that maybe have been procrastinating a little bit on business planning, as Matt said, and show you. We're not going to spend a ton of time on that. We're going to hit the highlights.
Right.
But I really want to spend time on these 5 strategies, and they really are about being able to embrace the change that always happens in real estate, and where are the opportunities in this market. What can you do to really be that local market expert? Like not just talk about being the local market expert, but what do you specifically need to get out and do every day? Give you real world actionable strategies that are going to help you understand better, maybe better than you ever have in your entire real estate career, whether that's new. It would be really easy if it's new, then you're going to learn some great strategies right off the bat and just be stronger because of it. But if you've been in the business a minute, I feel like everyone can benefit from just stepping back and realizing that there's always people ready to buy and sell in any market. It's definitely different right now. And depending on what market you're in, it's different again, because everything's local. And that's the whole point. We want to talk about that. So we've got several little strategies that are in there. They're things that we're actually doing ourselves in our business here in Vegas that is working for us. And we are definitely going to talk about video and how to integrate more video into your business, because we are huge believers of that, because we're having success with it. I mean,
we're going to have a huge download for you that's going to be available to our workshop viewers for free. 100 and how many video ideas?
Well, right now I called it 101, but I believe there's more than 101. But I'm going to have it organized in a way to help you, no matter what your platform is, think about one of the things we're going to talk about, which is a strategy for video. And then when you will not ever be able to say, if you get this download, I don't know what to talk about, because I'm going to give you 101 plus specific titles of videos that you can record that are all short form videos, by the way. These aren't, you could turn them into longer form stuff as well, but this focus is going to be about using short form, minute or so videos on any of the platforms. And so I'm very excited about that, because we've been having massive success with that, and we want to show you what it takes to do it. But you know what, the biggest thing that I want to help everybody wake up to is that it is about keeping it simple and finding the thing that you like to do in this business, besides stay in touch with the people that you know. We're going to talk about that, and what are the best ways to do that, and how to keep it simple and keep it interesting without it feeling like a lot of work. But what else could you be doing? And maybe you need to discover that or rediscover that. If you're new, maybe you need to go figure that out. And that's what the difference is for me. It's not trying to do 20 things or 5 things. It's literally 3 things, you know, 3 areas to focus the business on. And that's what we want to help you see. And then you can have some fun with the business, but you also have to adjust to what's happened. And I'll give you a perfect example. So I've never been more in tune with understanding events that are happening and being reported impact our business. And today, as we record today, the jobs report came out. Well, first of all, something that happened a couple days ago, and as we record this, if you're listening to it later, it's the 2nd of December today. But a few days ago, Fed Chair Jerome Powell made some comments that that were favorable, that were like, he doesn't think it's going to take as long. It was just what he does, right? Yep. They had a press conference, and literally the market went crazy, right? The interest rates went down about 1/4 point off that news because of what the bond market did and all that. Now, today, I have to wait and see what happens. The jobs report comes out. So I follow Mortgage News Daily. They had an article yesterday saying, we're going to see what happens with the jobs report, because this is the idea, right? If the jobs report comes in lower and employment, it looks like we're slowing down and people are, which is really weird, right? Slowing down, then the interest rates are going to come down. If the jobs report is positive, which it is, the interest rates are probably going to go up.
Yep.
And it did. It was better than expected. So we'll probably see a little, it went down a little bit. It's probably going to go back up a little bit, but it's constantly changing. And if you didn't get what I was just saying, or you don't know enough about that, and you're saying things like when the Fed changes their number, what it does to the interest rate, then you're saying the wrong things. And so that's what we're going to help you with. Okay.
Yeah,
that class.
Jan has really become an expert in this area, and what I love about Jan always is when she dives into something, she doesn't just learn, she doesn't skim. Jan goes deep, right? So she has that understanding of this that I think she probably wishes she would have had 30 years ago.
100%, Matt. Yeah. And I am, and I think I just did enough to be able to say a couple things, and that's what everybody does. And then so you get a question, but the bottom line is, I have more confidence talking to people about what's happening in the market because I'm a student of the market, and I can say, you're right, this is what's going to happen, but nobody knows what's going to happen there. And then there's talking points, and we're going to cover that. Like, what could you be saying to a buyer and a seller right now about why is a good time to buy now, or why they might want to wait? So
it's so impactful if you can actually have a conversation with your buyers and sellers and help to really counsel them. Do the job that you're really supposed to be doing. Right. And being able to do it with confidence will set you apart, because let's face it, most agents aren't like that.
Yeah. So interesting. So that's it. Come join us. We're going to have some fun. And it's only $23 for 2023.
23 for 23. And the easiest way to get to that is to go to WBNLcoaching.com. It's smack dab right at the top of our website. So you can sign up, just click the button, sign up right there. You can go over to our YouTube channel, which is YouTube.com/C/WBNL coaching, I think is what it actually is. And we have a video there and a link over to the sign up site, or you can go to, let me figure it out here. Hi, there we go. WBNLcoaching.com/C's 2023. So there's no excuse of not being able to get and find it. There's a plethora of ways to go over there and get to the workshop. We're looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's do it.
Interactive as well.
All right.
So what else is going on, John O'Brien? It's December. How'd that happen?
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know where this year went. It's a blur to me. I feel like I've
Crazy.
been back in Vegas for a couple years, but literally it's been 6 months.
Well, actually, that saying 6 months kind of blows my mind because it doesn't seem like it's been that long to me, but that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it's basically 6 months. So, well, maybe going into 7 because I got here in June, right? So June, July, 6 months. I had to count on my fingers. Nope, it's all good. I'm ready for an amazing 2023. I don't know about you, but it's coming whether we like it or not. So we better get ready
for 2023. It's going to be a good year. And you know what? They're all good years. If you just make them good years, that's just all there is to it, right? Got to keep your smile on, keep a positive attitude, and you can do it. If you followed along and joined us in our gratitude last month, but please remember that gratitude is not only around Thanksgiving, that you need to be grateful 365 days a year.
Yeah, amen to that.
Please follow that. Once again, all of our show notes are over at WBNLpodcast.com. Or you can get there at WBNLcoaching.com as well. Just go to our podcast link and jump on the podcast. This has been episode 218. In 2 weeks, we are going to have an interview, special to be determined. And then Jan is also going to talk about VA and FHA loans, which is a blossoming thing that's coming up in conversation now with people getting into homes. And then at the end of the year, at the end of the month, the last week of the month, we're going to do our yearly recap of the year. Jan and I are going to just, talk about some of our favorite things. We're going to go through, like we always do every year, just kind of the top things.
Like that whole rewind the year and hit the highlights.
Exactly. And then starting in
Matt
2020
and Jen's version.
Right, Matt and Jen, the Matt and Jen edition. Then in 2023, we are going to go back doing a weekly podcast. So we'll be hitting you every Monday in 2023. So a lot going on the rest of the month. I'm looking forward to a wonderful December and a wonderful holiday season. I hope you are too. Get up, get out, be forever wandering but not lost, and be grateful, right?
Right.
See you next week. Or no, see you in 2 weeks. Something like that.
And then soon it will be see you next week again.
Yeah.